What is wrong with the second Red Bull seat, man? It's crazy, it's unbelievable at this point. Hi guys, welcome back to Red Flag Radio F1 YouTube channel. My name is Rishabh and I'm here to talk about what to look for in the 2025 Chinese Grand Prix. Well, if you thought the sprint was great, just wait for the main race now. We have got Piastri on pole, but can he convert this into victory? We have Lando Norris, who isn't looking as comfortable this weekend. We have George Russell, who pulled off a stunning P2 in this qualifying session, and Ferrari is looking seriously quick after Hamilton's sprint win. But with Verstappen still one of the biggest threats on the grid and tyre wear proving to be a huge challenge for everyone, this race is set to be an intense battle to say the least. So, let's break it all down. Alright, let's start with McLaren. Oscar Piastri, man, you absolute beauty. What a lap that was, man. He has finally taken his first pole position in F1, 7 years after Daniel Ricciardo took the last pole position for an Aussie driver. I think this is the perfect way to bounce back after that heartbreak in Australia. But now the real challenge begins. Can he convert this into his first victory of 2025? Well, he's got the fastest car, a clear track ahead, and a golden chance to control the race from the front. So, if he nails the start and manages his tires well, this should be his moment to bounce back in the championship fight straight away. On the other side of the garage, though, Lando Norris, who isn't having the best weekend, I'll say. I mean, he's looked a step behind all through the weekend with another poor start in sprint, and he's just struggling to find the rhythm which Piastri has at the moment. This isn't the Lando we saw dominating in Australia last week. So, could this be Piastri's big moment to lead the McLaren charge alone? Or will Lando bounce back and fight hard with Piastri? Or are there some papaya rules in plan if that scenario comes in? Well, we have to wait and watch to see how McLaren will handle the situation. Okay, now be honest. Did anyone had George Russell on the front row for this race? Because I sure didn't. But here we are. He's P2 on the grid, and this might just be Mercedes' best shot at a race win after so long. Well, they won last race in 2024 Las Vegas, so now they are back and they are looking extremely solid. We saw in the sprint that their tire wear was quite decent compared to others, and if Russell gets a rocket start and snatches the lead from Piastri into turn 1, we might just have a race on our hands. And let's not forget, Russell knows how to defend hard, man, when he gets that track position. So, if Mercedes plays their strategy cards right, keeps him in clean air, and extends the stints better than the other teams, we could be looking at a strong result for Russell. He would love to be on the podium again after a strong race in Australia, but can this weekend be the one where Russell can make it even better with a win? Maybe you can put some chips on that because this is Formula 1 and nothing is guaranteed until the checkered flag drops. And speaking of teams with pace, Ferrari, they were seriously fast in the sprint race trim, where Lewis Hamilton won the sprint race, marking his first victory in Ferrari colours. And you just know that's given him that confidence boost after the disappointing Australian Grand Prix. On the other side of the garage, Charles Leclerc, he has also looked strong in this whole weekend, and Ferrari's overall pace is looking really competitive. So, definitely they are going to be right in the mix. But, and it's a big but, okay, how will Ferrari manage their driving pair? Because, let's be real, Ferrari's worst enemy is often Ferrari. We saw some radio drama last race, and they are famous for weird strategy calls as well. So, while Ferrari has the pace to fight at the front, the real question is, can they keep it together when it matters the most? With Hamilton riding high on confidence and Leclerc hungry to prove a point, this could go either way. Will we see a perfectly executed race or another classic Ferrari blunder? Either way, expect fireworks from their side. Now let's talk about Red Bull because this is an interesting one. Max Verstappen once again is a lone warrior this weekend starting from P4. Why? Because Liam Lawson, man, I don't know. It's been a tough weekend for him. P20 in both sprint qualifying as well as the main race qualifying. And he's clearly struggling to adapt to the Red Bull in these tricky conditions. And now it just feels like this is not just a Liam Lawson problem. That second Red Bull seat has been a black hole for drivers since Daniel Ricciardo left at the end of 2018. Gasly struggled massively in 2019, forcing Red Bull to replace him mid season with Albon, who himself failed to perform consistently in 2020. Then came Sergio Perez in 2021, experienced, fast, but even he by the end of 2024 was nowhere close to Max Verstappen. And now, Liam Lawson. He finds himself in the same boat. So, why does this keep happening? Well, it is difficult to say, but we know that Verstappen has a very aggressive driving style, needing a car that is, sharp at the front but unpredictable at the rear. That's something very few drivers can handle, and Lawson, like others before him, is likely struggling to adapt to this unique car philosophy. And not to forget, Red Bull paid a hefty amount to replace Perez with Lawson. So I think they will be desperate in some way, and I feel the triple header which is coming can just force Red Bull to go for either Hajar or Sonoda, and that on paper may sound a promotion, but if they don't have a similar driving style as Max, then I feel even Lawson will be able to perform better than second Red Bull driver if he's sent back to Racing Bull, of course. So at this point, I'm really not sure how they can resolve this problem, but they need someone who drives like Max. Well, I don't think there's any other driver who drives like Max, but they have to find a way, or they just have to make some internal changes for Liam to make him even more comfortable. But coming back to Max, Max will be fighting alone in this race, and by fighting alone, I mean fighting as the lone warrior from Red Bull because there are other drivers from Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes, and they will be there to fight with Verstappen. And while we know Verstappen is a beast on race day, he's starting from P4, which is not ideal. So he will be forced to fight hard, which will chew his tires too quickly unless his race start is so good or others crash ahead. He himself said that.
So how do you win this race tomorrow? How do you approach it?
If they all retire in front of me?
I guess it will be a tough race for him. Or can he actually pull this one off and show why he's the best driver on the grid at the moment? Either way, it's going to be one hell of a battle that you can't miss. Now, a team that is getting the spotlight after an amazing sprint and qualifying. Racing Bulls. Both Sonoda and Hajar have looked incredibly strong here. They look really good, and honestly, if strategy plays out right and they are at right place at right time, they could be in for big points haul for this race. But let's not forget tires. The sprint showed us that tire wear is absolutely brutal here, even for medium tires which they use for the majority of sprint. So almost every team struggled to keep their rubber alive. And with a full race distance ahead, managing degradation could be the biggest factor in deciding the winner. So I think this could open the doors for drivers who are smarter with their tires, maybe like Hamilton or even Hajar, who can be the wild card of this race. That's how I feel. Alright, time to put my predictions on the line. Here's how I see it paying out. I feel Oscar Piastri will take his first F1 win of 2025. With McLaren's straight line speed and his calm approach and the way they handle the tires these days, I think that could make the difference. P2, I feel Max Verstappen because let's be real, it's Max and he always finds a way. So I think he will be there with Oscar Piastri. But P3, I think Lewis Hamilton. With his smart tire management, good racecraft, I think he will be there on podium and he is running high on confidence with that win in sprint. So that's my podium. And if I have to go for a wild guess, it's not that wild considering how things are, but I feel Isaac Hajar will be in top 6 because he has been brilliant this weekend. And if this race gets messy ahead, he might just capitalize here. And not to forget, he wants to redeem the mistake he made in Australia. So, this can be an amazing race for Haijar as well as for Racing Bulls, I feel. But now I want to hear from you, who is winning this race. Will Piastri convert pole into victory? Or will Verstappen do Verstappen things and snatch it away? Whether Norris can come back and show that he is the one who wants to lead this championship as we speak? Who will surprise us in this race with almost 6 drivers fighting for that win? And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button because we'll be diving deep into everything that happens after the race. So, see you after the Chinese Grand Prix because I feel this one is going to be insane. Goodbye.